Voice of Indonesia from Indonesia to the world. Listener, when the world is too big and time flies too fast, we can only see the glimpses of every events and history, arts and cultures. But if you want to see the ones being frozen shortly in time, one just need to step into museums. And the latest addition to the museum in the world is the Hong Kong Palace Museum. And joining us via Zoom is the Museum Director of the Hong Kong Palace Museum, Dr. Lewis Ng. How are you, Dr. Lewis?
Hi, Steve and friends, in Indonesia. How are you?
I'm fine, and what about you?
Good, very good.
Okay, I can see from the smile of your face. I think the place is also as bright as your smile. But we want to know first the backstory of your museum. Why was it founded at the first time?
Wow, I think firstly, the Hong Kong Palace Museum was officially opened in July 2022 after 5 years in making. It is a partnership project between the Hong Kong Palace Museum and the Palace Museum in Beijing with an objective of promoting Chinese art and culture through the display of Palace Museum Beijing collection on a permanent basis. But the Hong Kong Palace Museum is not a branch of the Palace Museum in Beijing. We are a separate entity with our own vision, strategies, and artistic directions. And we have also our autonomy over the planning, operation, and of this museum. As a part of the Hong Kong Palace Museum, the Palace Museum Beijing offers loans of artifacts from his collections, resources, academic advice, I think, to support us.
Oh.
Well, it is the first time, that maybe I'm not sure whether you have visited the Palace Museum in Beijing. That is a huge museum, and also is a very important national museum in China. And they think they has loaned us close to 1,400 items in the past 2 years as we change the objects on view from time to time by rotations.
Okay.
So these objects, are thoughtfully selected from the 1.8 million worth in the Palace Museum collections, which is among the largest and the finest, that the Palace Museum in Beijing has even lent to other organizations, that since its establishment in 1925.
Wow, that's nice. And of course, when we'll talk about the museum, people usually will focus. They will set their eyes onto the collection. As you said that you have the collection in rotation. But would you please share with us how was the curation processes of this collection, and of course the rotation between the collections?
Well, I think that is a joint effort of the two curatorial teams, our teams, and also the museum in Beijing, Palace Museum. But I think that our in-house curator first initiate the themes of the exhibition. For example, now we have a total 9 galleries, of which 5 galleries, the whole exhibition about the Palace Museum collection and culture. So we decided the theme, and then we discussed with the curators in Beijing, Palace Museum, and then discuss what kind of objects I think that should be brought to Hong Kong for showing in these exhibitions. So and then this exhibition, that the viewing time there's different. Some 1 year, some only 6 months, some 2 years. So it's a joint effort. And I'm so pleased that I think that our collaborations, it's very good. And then the overall comment from our visitors is very, very positive.
Okay, sir, I'd like to talk more about the collaboration later, but first, still about the collection. You said that there's some rotation between the collection, but is there anything that is permanent that everybody can find in your museum, or what is the most valuable item that everybody get to see in this museum?
As I mentioned that, I think that of this of 5 exhibition of our 9 exhibition, five from the objects from Palace Museum. They are priceless. That is quite difficult. That to tell you which item are the most valuable because in mainland China they classify their collection different 1, 2, and 3, and 1 is very very rare and very most valuable and also classified as national treasures.
Wow.
I think in the past 2 years, over 200 of these kind of national treasures have been showed, I think, to the public. But I have to say that during the past 2 years, we have also established our own collection. They are very, very unique. We have acquired items by donation, including ceramic, paintings, gold, textile. They are very, very unique. But I have to say that the visitors, appreciate, that also, the beauty of the objects. And also, I think they appreciate very much the story behind the objects. That's very important. I think that we have to tell a very interesting story to our visitors.
Yeah, right now almost so many museums, for example, like in Indonesia that we know, and I also went to Russia, and most of the museums is not only about showing things, it's about the storytelling. And what makes the Hong Kong Palace Museum have do your place have a different way of storytelling or telling the story behind every items?
Oh, well, I think it's very important that when we build this museum, I think we have decided that we show the items in a complete different way. The keyword is innovation. It's very, very important. So we have our own innovative approach. I think when we curate and present the objects and work from Palace Museum, because Hong Kong is very unique cities, east, west, and then with our historical background. So we tell the story about the beauty of Chinese art and culture from a very, very unique Hong Kong perspective. And then to create a very extraordinary and pioneer experience through which visitor can appreciate and understand the object from Palace Museum and the culture of a city in a very, very creative way. And what we do is to connect the past to the present, and then to help our visitor to understand who we are and how we came to be. And we are not a repository, just that art treasure for people to worship, but we always want to provide our contemporary connections to art and historical objects in relation to the modern life and experience. So that's why I think that we use, as you mentioned about the storytelling is very important. We spark interest, encourage our audience to explore, contemporary, and create meaning for the objects based on their own experience. So we need to link personal experience of visitor with the objects, and then could convert the history of culture, I think, to the internal knowledge and values. That especially, there will be different, experience for Chinese or Hong Kong. That the visitor from mainland and Hong Kong or in Indonesia. So this kind of modern day connections, I think, is quite unique. I think that is to bring traditional Chinese art and history into our modern lives.
It's bridging,
it's a very special approach.
Bridging the past into the current situation and maybe the future. And talking about bridges, sir, it is very related to collaboration. How many collaborations that your museums have? You have mentioned some donations from China, or is there any other donation or collaboration from abroad, or maybe from Indonesia that we haven't heard about?
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course. That first of all, that our work collection focus on Chinese art and culture. I know many major Chinese art collector in Indonesia. So I will fly to Indonesia, I think, that to work with them. And hopefully, I think your museum people allow me, that to come. Actually, that's I think the collector is one of our collaborators, and also those museum in mainland, and also that in the world apart, and also that our focus, I think that to work with them, and then we so far we have established a very strong connections with mainland museums and audience. And that Hong Kong's now has a very deep integration into the overall development strategies of the country, and then this kind of a strategic pillars as established with major museum in mainland China, including the Palace Museum, the Shanghai Museum, and then we work together and then to bring the collection for showing here, and also we also introduce some very good project to them. And then, interestingly, I think for the Shanghai Museum, we have partnerships to share information, and where some exhibition, for example, international exhibition, will first stage in Hong Kong or in Shanghai, and then for the second leg, we'll go to these two cities. So I can see, I think, that both Shanghai and Hong Kong, I think now is a very vibrant in Asia. So that's, I think, that our collaboration with mainland museum. And also, I'm not sure, have you heard about a concept about the Greater Bay Area, this concept?
Not yet, sir.
Okay, this is an area, I think that's quite about that the central government, I think, integrate, I think, several cities in Guangdong, and then in Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Macau. And that we call is the Greater Bay Area, because we have a river is called in Chujiang River, and then with a population of over 72 million people, that this area is very important. It's a huge market potential, I think, to museum, to cultural sector, to expand their audience base and promote, that visitations. So we work closely with all these museums in this area, and then for collaboration, for exhibition, research, education, and mainly I think that to expand our visitor markets. So we pledge to promote this kind of mutual trust and understanding of people within, we call it Greater Bay Area, for shared values and vision and also program. So integrating with, I think, the mainland museum, I think this is one of our strategies, very, very important strategies.
It is a very ambitious strategy and also plan, sir. I wish it will work so nice, because I just googled something about the Greater Bay Area, and it is a very big plan, right, to make it a very good center for the economy. And apparently we still have a lot of things to discuss about the museum, but I got to end this shortly, sir. So for the people who have yet to be able to go to Hong Kong, where can they get more information about your museum?
Oh, from our website, and then that's there's www.hkpm.org.hk. You can find all information, and you can buy the ticket, there from our website.
Wow.
So actually, that's I think since the museum opens 2 years ago, I think the Hong Kong Palace Museum has become a major and important tourism, the spot, I think, for tourists, And I have to share with you, I think, some information our visitor composition, the profile, that now over 50% of our visitors from mainland China, and then 20% from overseas.
Wow.
Many of them from Indonesia. I have to say that, I'm so happy, with this. And also 30%, from local people. So we can see over 70% of visitors, that are non-local. That from time to time, I met many Indonesia visitors. They are so good. They're so keen. That to learn more about Chinese art and culture for our exhibition.
Wow.
And in future, I will do more. I think that's engagement. I think that with those visitors in Indonesia.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir. And now, right now, I'm opening the hkpm.org and I can see the exhibitions. And wow, there's the VR exhibitions too, right? So, people, if you haven't been able to go to Hong Kong, you just gotta open the website right now, hkpm.org. You can see the current, the upcoming, and the past exhibitions. And Dr. Lu Young, thank you very much for joining us in the Voice of Indonesia. I wish to meet you directly in the museums there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Bye bye.